Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today, I'm going to look back at my top 10 favorite new-to-me plays thus far, halfway through 2024, because we've reached July. So we've got 6 months down, 6 months to go. Every month I've done a look back at my favorite new-to-me plays from each month, and now it's time to kind of look at them collectively for the previous 6 months. And then at the end of the year, I'll do a wrap-up like I've done every year of my favorite new-to-me games from the whole year. So how do I do this? Well, first of all, I throw all the new-to-me games into Meeple. If you haven't checked out Meeple, go check it out. pubmeeple.com. It's a really neat ranking system that really works really well to kind of form you a little list. You can tweak it after you're done, whatever you want to feel happy with it. But what it does is it pairs up two of whatever things you're ranking. It's got 7 or 8 different categories that it can pull from and start doing rankings. And it'll pull those games into a list for you and then throw 2 of them together, and you just pick which one you like more based on whatever you want to base it on. For me, when these 2 games came up head to head, I would just say which one would I want to go play right now if given the choice. So that's kind of what I did. I have 35 games that were new to me from January of 2024 through June of 2024. So 35 games went head-to-head a bunch of times, and this is kind of the top 10 that was spit out. I haven't looked back at any of my previous lists other than, the one I just did because, well, I just did it for June, so it's pretty fresh. And maybe there's some, recency bias on this from games, I've played more recent than others. But looking at the list, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yeah, there are some of the more recent games on this list, but they're still good games. And they barely cracked the top 5, I think, my most recent favorite game. So this list, I think, does a good job of covering all 6 months of spread. Again, I haven't looked that deep into when each game came up and how they fared on those lists. So I might have had a number 3 from March that's now ahead of 2 and 1. That might not even be on this top 10. But this is the top 10 new-to-me games thus far, halfway through 2024, games I played in 2024. And I'm going to apologize first in case I sound a little off. I've been really congested lately. My body, I think, is getting used to the different flora and fauna here in Colorado. So if I sound a little off, I've got a little congestion. I've got some tea here I might sip at from time to time. I do apologize in advance if things are off here, but I'm doing my best to get through this with the scratchiness. So let's go ahead and get started here with my number 10 favorite new-to-me game thus far in 2024, halfway through. Is a game I just recently played. It's 3 Ring Circus from Devere. This is a game where you're building out a tableau of performers, and then you're going around a map of the eastern part of the United States, various cities, small, medium, and large towns, and putting on shows. And depending on the town you visit, if it's a small town, you're just kind of generating money. Money being more cards, which could actually act as performers or money, depending on the cost point on them. But how much money they are, that's how much it costs to put them onto your tableau as new performers. There are 3 columns you're trying to fill, and each one's going to go in chronological order from lowest performer to highest. Medium towns, you're going to score points and money at. And then large towns, you're going to score points, and you want to be the first one to perform in that town because you're going to get bonus points. And there are bonus points based on how your tableau is laid out. Various performers, they want to see certain performers before others. But more specifically, the large towns want to see specific performers. So you can't even go perform there if you haven't played that performer into your town. They could be jugglers, singers, magicians, clowns, whatever the case is. But each large city, and these are going to, come from a deck you're going to play out, so they're going to change up from game to game. It's not like New York's going to always want the same performer, but you're going to randomly distribute those cards out to the main cities. You're going to distribute, cards out to the medium cities as well. They're looking for a certain type of performer, not a specific performer, but, maybe Cleveland wants to see a clown, so you have to have a clown to get bonus points in Cleveland, bonus option points. There. So, you want to meet the certain requirements, whether it's animal performers, clown performers. I don't remember what the other options are offhand. But every game is going to be different based on the randomization on the board and then how the cards are going to come out. And as you perform, that's going to tick down the game clock. And there's some area control elements because you're going to score for each area of the map after the main Barnum and Bailey's, I believe, train passes into the next major town. It's going to score for that region. So you're kind of racing for area control. You're racing to be the first to perform in major cities. You're trying to build out your tableau to score points because you've got different in-game objectives that are going to come into play as you meet certain tableau marks where you can play one of those onto the board as an in-game scoring objective. So then you want to meet those objectives. There's a lot of little nuance and not a tough game because in the end you're going to take one of two actions on your turn. You're either going to play another performer to the board, paying for it with other performer cards, or you're going to go around and perform and get whatever you get from that city based on how the board layout and whether it's a small, medium, or large city. So a lot to think about. A nice, squishy, thinky Euro 3-ring circus. It's really fun. Number 9, new to me game, halfway through 2024, is a game that I played. It's follow-on, not predecessor, that was previous. The follow-on game more, but this year I got It's a Wonderful World to the table, which is the original engine building city builder game, I guess, where you're drafting from a hand of cards, one card that you're going to use either for resources or as something you're going to try to build in your city. And as you get resources on those city cards you're building, once they're full, you'll put them into your city and they generate more resources and in-game scoring points. You're going to do that for 4 rounds, I believe. And then whoever has the best scoring city will be the winner. I like engine builders. I like kind of tableau card, this isn't really tableau builder, but generating resources in a tight, thinky action space, and you're getting more resources as the game goes on, as you get more buildings into your city, your village, whatever it is, into your world. You're going to generate more and more. So you got to kind of math out what you're going to have later and later in the game to dictate whether or not you're going to be able to build these cards that you're putting out, or whether if you need to just chuck them right now for a resource to help you get another building built. I really like the thinky space of It's a Wonderful World, and I need to get into, I've got the one with the campaign version into it. I really want to get into that and see how that changes things up too. But I like It's a Wonderful World. I like engine builders and kind of card management anyway. So that's my number 9, It's a Wonderful World. Number 8 new to me game from 2024 thus far is Stone Spine Architects. This was a new game from Thunderworks game that I received earlier this year. I like it. It's, again, you're building a tableau in front of you, a layer at a time as you work your way, through a dungeon. You're building a dungeon with traps and goblins and different things that you're wanting to do because you're going to score points for how good your dungeon is at basically thwarting people from coming in there. And you're going to score based on your longest road from the entrance, your longest route from the exit, various scoring objectives that are going to come out, and other things I don't remember offhand. It's been a little bit since I played this. It's been a couple months at least. But you're basically, you're just drafting cards and playing them into your tableau. 4 at a time per round. You're working your way from the top down for 4 rounds, I believe, trying to meet certain objectives and get more things into the dungeon to thwart those who might be trying to crawl through. I just really like this game. It's a good thinky card, again, tableau building game with different scoring objectives and different things you're trying to manage with limited resource, or not even resource, but like card selection at your disposal. Stone Spine Architects, another one I just really enjoyed. My next favorite new to me game is a new one on this list from just this past month, Thunder Road Vendetta. Again, a game that's not my style. I mentioned this, I think, in the last month video. I don't normally like Ameritrash dice chucking games, but this one has enough Euro thinkiness and plays quick enough and is just ridiculous enough to work. It's basically Mad Max Thunder, or why can't I come up with that? The Mad Max Fury Road. There we go. Thunder Road Vendetta is that. It's a remake of an older game, I believe. Restoration Games took an older game and changed it up, and for the better. I hadn't heard anything about the old game ever, but this game came out and has been blowing up the gaming space a lot. But basically what you're doing is you're in control of 3 cars and maybe a helicopter, and you're going around and just trying to avoid hazards on the road, racing to finish first, or racing to knock everybody else out. Either way, you win if you're the first to finish the race or the last person standing. But as you crash, you might be the one who takes the brunt of the damage. And if your car gets damaged twice, it's going to be out unless you can heal it back up. If you fly off the map in any way, shape, or form, you're out all the way. You can't even heal back from it. So it's just a race to be, again, the first one to finish or the last person standing. And you can shoot at people. You can cause accidents. You can try to avoid accidents. There are hazards on the road, which could be nothing, could be super dangerous, whatever the case is. Thunder Road Vendetta is just a quick, silly, fun game that is... It's not Euro-style game that you normally see on my list, that's for sure. My number 6 favorite new-to-me game from 2024, halfway through the year, is going to be Newton. This is a game where you've got limited action cards, kind of like Concordia style. Everybody's got the same starting deck, and you're going to play those out as actions, and one of those actions could be to draft more action cards. Some cards give you resources as you play them. Some of them have icons that you need to meet to build up in your library area, which could give you round bonuses each round if you can fill that out right. You're going to race around a map to visit different cities, different types of cities. Some of them give you extra actions or extra resources. There's the science track that you can send your scientists up, but they can't go back. So once you pick a route, they're going to go that way, but you can get more sciences out with an action and go up various ones of that. It's just a lot of thinky space, a lot of options from your card deck, and you really need to manage how you're taking those actions and where your best plan of attack is, because you're not going to be able to do all the actions, and you might not be able to score the scoring space you want to get to unless you get the icons out on the board you need. A lot of thinkiness. It's definitely my style of game where you're playing action cards and getting resources and doing those actions and trying to manage how you want to do those. And at the end of every round, you're going to tuck a card, and that card's out of play. So you really need to think about the cards you tuck and the cards you want to keep, and how those icons can work for you, because as you can build up, the action icons and get bigger, more powerful actions as you build those actions up. So the first time you take the action, you're only going to do like 1 power, but the next time you play the action, you've got the previous one on the board, so now it's a 2 power. So I just really like the thinkiness that is in Newton, a game that I've been looking forward to playing for a while, and now I've played it and do really enjoy it, and that's halfway through my list. My number 5 favorite new-to-me game from from the first half of 2024 through June is Sky Team. This is a 2-player cooperative game where you are both pilots, or pilot and co-pilot, and you're trying to make your way through the dangerous skies of various planes to land at your destination on time and in a good landing pattern. So you're taking turns to lower your flaps, lower your speed, keep your plane level, clear the airspace in front of you, whatever it is, and silent play. So you've each got your own 4 dice, and you're going to place them onto the board to do the actions. There are some actions you have to do each round, and all the actions you have to do before the end of the game, so that way you can safely land without talking. So it's just a great, fun, cooperative game for 2 players. I like the theme. I've been in aviation. I wouldn't say buff, but I've enjoyed watching aviation things and learning about the realm of air travel and things like that. So Sky Team, it's just had everything I wanted in a game, and it's unfortunate for me. It's a 2-player game. That's my hardest player count to play. But I've enjoyed every play of this, and there's so much in the box to change things up. You got different maps, or different cities, I guess, that have different things that you're going to do. And I could see even the possibility for some more expansions down the line, even with Sky Team. And it plays quick, too, so you're not spending a lot of time trying to get a 2-player game. Maybe while you're waiting for the rest of the crew to show up, you can roll this one out in 10 or 15 minutes and knock out that time, too. I really enjoy Sky Team. Number 4 favorite new-to-me game from 2024 at the halfway point is going to be A game I didn't really want to play because I didn't want to like it because I like the similar games and I didn't need to play Dune Imperium, or in this case Dune Imperium Uprising, which is I think collect all from the previous editions and take the best of the best, a la Viticulture Tuscany edition. So Dune Imperium Uprising is kind of the best of what Dune Imperium's been, which has been a highly praised game since it came out. I don't care about the IP. I've never seen any of the Dune movies. I never really care to. I've never read the books, whatever, TV shows. I think there's everything for Dune at this point. I've not been interested in any of it. It just hasn't really been an IP I've wanted to care about. But the game is fun. It's everything I like in a game. It's, action, selection, worker placement. You can't place the workers unless you have the card that, you play a card down, and the worker can only go to where the icons for that card are. You're going to be able to get more action cards into your hand. You're going to manage tight resources. You're going to go fight out for area control, not really area control, but zone control, to collect, victory point cards to meet certain conditions. Set collection a little bit because you went two similar combat cards, and then you get an extra point. Your racing just get 10 points, but the points are so hard to come by, and the action's tight. The worker placement, like any worker placement game, it's tight because once a worker's there, you can't go there, but you can't go there unless you play a card, action card that lets you go there. So it's just a lot of tight, thinky, juicy goodness with combat, area, workers, card, action cards, buying more of those to get into your deck. It was a lot of fun. I really like Dune Imperium Uprising. I don't know if I like it more than Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is a similar style game, but not exactly. But they get compared a lot. I still think I like the theme and the more thinkiness of Lost Ruins of Arnak, but I haven't played that in so long. Dune Imperium Uprising is more fresh on my mind, and I did really like it. But I guess only enough to be number 4 per the Pub Meeple. So let's move on to my number 3 favorite new to me game from the midway point of 2024, and that is going to be Rococo. Rococo, again, is another tight action, do everything kind of game. This one I don't believe has worker placement, but it has action playing an action card, and based on the action card, you can take certain actions, whether it's a bronze, silver, or gold card. Gold cards can do anything. Bronze can do limited things, and silver can do about half the things. But you're collecting resources. You're building dresses and suits to give to your party goers. You're sending party goers out on the board to do area control and collect points and more resources. It's got, again, just like Dune Imperium Uprising, it's got a little bit of everything, and it's got what I like, and that's that tight thinky space, the tight action resource management space. So every action you use got to count and mean something, and you're racing more so in this game to cover the board and get that area control and get those extra points you can for each area, but also you want to get the big points out there too at the in-game scoring. So it's been a while since I played this one, but I really enjoyed it. Again, tight thinkiness, tight action selection, tight resource management, and a neat theme of dressing those rich guests that are going to your manor for a party. So Rococo, I played the Deluxe edition. I really enjoyed Rococo. However, I liked the top 2 more, and first we're starting with a game that I believe in the top 100 games of all time for a long time. It is Lorenzo Il Magnifico. I really like Lorenzo Il Magnifico. Again, it's another tight resources, tight action selection. You're using dice drafting, where you've got a shared dice pool that you're using, and then you're using those dice to take various actions, whether they're on your board or on the main board, or drafting more cards to add to your tableau that are going to help you generate resources or take stronger actions later, and get scoring points. It's just another one of those tight, again, I'm going to say that for like every game, but they're my kind of games where you've got tight selection, but a lot of options, or order matters in this one too. Because you might want a card that somebody else is also eyeballing, and you've got to make the right choice at the right time to be able to get the one before the other, but you might need the resources that they've already got. So it's just managing everything, manage your actions, manage your resources, and managing when you're taking those actions and trying to get the best return on investment, or hoping you're set up to take what you need before somebody else does. Lorenzo Il Magnifico, again, is another one of my style game. Dice drafting, card action selection, resource management, tight. Everything's tight. I'm going to say that a lot. It's probably my favorite word. Just put tight on the title card, whatever. But that's my number 2, Lorenzo Il Magnifico. So number 1 favorite new to me game halfway through 2024 is a game I'm not even sure many people have heard of. I hadn't heard of it before I got my hands on. Somebody found a copy on sale. It was a Kickstarter a couple of years ago, I believe, and I think it did okay. Like, obviously it got released, but I hadn't heard anything about it much at all, and that is Jiangnan Life of Gentry. And this is a game that I really enjoy playing. That's why it's my number 1 favorite new to me game. Despite all these other games that people talk highly of ever since they've come out, I've not heard, again, nobody's talking about Jiangnan Life of Gentry. I think Rado talked about it last year in one of his videos. But in Jiangnan Life of Gentry, you've got action discs that you're pulling out. You're going to have 4 of them on display from your bag of 12, I believe. And each one's got an action and a resource. And you're going to play one on your turn for the action and discard the other one for the resource. And the one you discard is out of the game. Discarded, gone. Out of the game. So you're not going to see that action ever again, but you will get that resource. And then you'll take the action that you drew, and you've got workers, and you're going to go to one of the 6 action spots on the board and perform that action, whether it's generate resources or turn in resources to perform that art, whether it's a painting, art, music art, I believe is one of them. There's 3, it's red, blue, and yellow. And so you're turning in the resources to get that art performed out of your hand. So basically from the left side of your board, where it's just kind of in waiting, to the right side, or it might be vice versa, whatever, to the side where now that's going to generate you money or points or whatever the case is, whether it's ongoing or just a one-time effect, depending on the art type. And that's basically the turn, but you're also going to be able to take actions to kind of do a little bit of an area control part of the board. And they're going to generate actions, resources, and points. You can do, there's a dial section where you can go, I'm not explaining this very well, but then you can go there and take bonus actions or get free resources or whatever. So if you don't have the action card you need to do the action you want to do, you maybe can get it through one of these other action slots. But at the end of every round, you're going to place a mini worker on the little boat at the bottom of each of those action spaces. And then at the end of each round, all those boats are going to slide over, and whoever's got the majority on the front boat gets to pick one of the 2 scoring objectives for that round, and that scoring objective goes up onto the end of round, because I think at the end of round 2, 4, and 6, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to score all those round objectives, so they're going to build. So if you get something you know you're going to build towards for the whole game, you want to take area control of that first boat and get that objective out there. And it's just really interesting that you're doing a little bit of area control, you're doing worker placement, but that worker placement's again based on tight action. You might not have the action discs out on the board to take the actions you want, and so you're going to need to kind of readjust fire or find another way to do it with the actions you have available. You want to pay attention to the actions you're discarding, because again at the end of the round you're going to go through and draft new action cards, and they're, as each round goes on, they're going to get stronger and stronger. So they're going to give you multiple action choices, so you can do this action or this action with this action disc, or they're going to give you more of the resources. So maybe you just want to draft that, get into play, and get the bunch of resources from it, and then it's gone again, while you're still playing the lower tier action discs. So it's basically a bag builder, it's worker placement, it's tight action selection, it's tight resource management, it's a little bit of engine building, because as you're making this art, you're going to be able to generate more and around resources or more points from them, depending on what they are. Area control, you're going to area control on boats in the first half of the game to get the round scoring out. But then at the end of the game, they're each going to get an end of round condition on them. And whoever has the most is going to score that end of round condition for the most amount of points. Like I think it's 4 points for each time you have like maybe a yellow art completed, if you have the most of the workers on that boat at the end of the game. And then whoever has the second most workers on that boat at the end of the game would score 2 points per yellow art, as an example. So there's so much thinky, juicy crunchiness in Jiangnan Life Adventure. I can't believe nobody else is talking about this game. I've really enjoyed playing it. If you like thinky, crunchy art, art too. Art is a theme, but thinky, crunchy Euro style games, it is quite a table hog. I will say that it does take up a lot of space on the table, but it's got almost everything, and it does it really well. Like sometimes you say everything but the kitchen sink almost is too much, but I think in this game it works. You're bag drafting to get your actions. Your actions dictate where your workers go, and where your workers are dictate that little bit of area control, what's boat control, whatever, for the scoring objectives for the round and in the game. So it's got a nice flow to it, even though it's got all these components and all these things in the game. I think it's got a good flow, and everything makes sense in it, and that's why I like Jiangnan Life Adventure. This one might stick at number 1 at the end of the year even. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it was easily my number 1 new to me game from this year. I think you should check it out if you can find it, especially if it's on sale like how I got it. Never heard of it, but it was a good price. Couldn't pass it up. As soon as I was asked, like, are you interested in this? I looked it up, said, yeah, that looks like my kind of game. Let me check it out. Got a hold of it. Have enjoyed it quite a bit. So, and that's why it's my number 1. Let me know the games you've been playing in the comments below, what you think about this list, if you've checked out these games, but I might have out of order. If you remember the other new to me games from other videos, maybe inquire below why a certain game isn't on the list when it was on the list earlier, and maybe I can explain it, maybe I can't. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe below to check out more videos from me in the future. I do appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time. Bye.